Fridays are awesome. We're glad you're spending part of yours with CNN Student News. From the CNN Center, I'm Carl Azus. First up, there is one story that has been dominating the news, leading our show for weeks, and it's the talk of the campaign trail as well. Here is that headline in 30 seconds.
Our economy is in crisis.
The financial crisis.
The most serious economic crisis of our time.
We've seen huge swings in the market.
Up 936. Biggest one-day point gain ever. A drop of 733 points.
Second largest daily point loss ever.
John has a plan.
I have a positive plan.
My plan.
Some genuine ideas.
Create over 30,000 new jobs.
We'll create another 2 million jobs.
Create jobs.
Create jobs.
Jobs, baby, jobs.
There you have it, politics and the economy. The issue is in the spotlight as people pick their presidential candidate. And millions of voters, including yours truly, have gotten a jump on that selection, casting our ballots before the big day. Jill Dougherty visits an early voting center in Virginia to explain how the process works.
One way to avoid this on Election Day is to do this. Vote early before the official day, Tuesday, November 4th. Virginia is one of 35 states in the U.S. that allow early voting. Technically, in Virginia, it's called in-person absentee voting. Here in Fairfax County, with its 1.1 million residents, there are 8 locations where voters can cast their ballot early. When we visited, about 11 in the morning, lines were running smoothly, even though the turnout is much higher than in 2004.
A good day would be probably 800 people, where now we're doing over 2,000 a day, so very different with this election. Everybody's interested.
In Virginia, voters are required to give a reason why they won't be able to vote at their local polling station on Election Day, like work schedule, travel, even pregnancy.
I'm going to be at work at least 10 hours because we get ready for Christmas holiday because I work in Macy's, so I have to get stuff ready. That's the reason, and I like it also, there's no lines.
No lines. Have you ever stood in a line?
Yes, and it's worth it.
So these are the actual ballots that people are going to fill in. They get a privacy sleeve into which they put it. When they're finished with this, they walk right over here into one of these booths, and that's where they actually fill in the paper ballot. The process took about 15 minutes. Much better, many voters told us, than standing in line the last election.
I wanted to make sure I got to vote before I had to wait online I waited for about an hour in 2004. So I wanted to make sure we got in early.
So why are there such long lines on Election Day?
It happens everyone goes at the polling place at the same time. The polling places, again, are open for 13 hours. In Fairfax County, our experience is people try to get there between 6 and 8 a.m. and vote on the way to work.
Here in Fairfax, they're hoping the more people vote early, the shorter the lines will be. Jill Dougherty, CNN, Fairfax County, Virginia.
Time for some fast facts. The United Nations is made up of 192 member countries. Delegates from those nations meet at the UN headquarters building in New York. The United Nations Charter states that the goals of the organization include maintaining international peace, developing relations among nations, and solving economic, social, cultural, and humanitarian problems around the world. That charter was ratified on this very date in 1945, which is why October 24th is United Nations Day.
Okay, now the UN may be asked to weigh in on violent clashes taking place in the nation of Colombia between the government and members of the country's native Indian population. Thousands of Indians have been demonstrating in the South American nation, demanding greater access to land, education, and health care. At least 4 protesters have been killed in the violent clashes. Colombia's president claims they died from their own weapons, but he has admitted that police fired on demonstrators.
Today's shout-out goes out to Mr. Ike's 8th grade American history classes at Oregon Trail Junior High School in Olathe, Kansas. Which of these events occurs in October? Is it National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, National Nutrition Month, National Mentoring Month, or National Bird Feeding Month? You've got 3 seconds. Go! In October, we observe National Breast Cancer Awareness Month. That's your answer, and that's your shout-out.
Checking out some headlines from the campus beat now, starting with a student's controversial hair color. For Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Miranda dyed part of her hair pink. Color is often associated with the observance, but the problem was her highlighted hair violates school rules. Normally, the punishment for the pink locks would be suspension, but Miranda's principal said the 8th grader could avoid that by giving a presentation on breast cancer awareness. Over in Massachusetts, a school district is putting a new policy in place to ban all kinds of candy and chocolate from coming onto campus. That means no sugary sweets in students' lunches, even in their backpacks. Officials say the move is designed to help fight diabetes and obesity, but some parents think the school is overstepping its bounds. Now, you might too, and you can shout out your opinion on our blog. Right now, a lot of you are talking about punishing parents when their students skip school. Caroline writes, I think it's good to punish parents when they don't send their kids to school because it motivates the kids to go to school. Morgan thinks it's fair as long as it's the parents' fault. If the parents, that is, are sending their kids to school and the kids are leaving school once they get there, she thinks the kids should be punished. Jacob says punishing parents for what their kids do is not right. The kids are the ones who skip. Let them pay the price. On putting political ads in video games, Danielle likes the idea if the people who played the games actually cared or if they were old enough to vote. But Alistair says, I play games to escape the circus that is the 2008 election. To have candidates try to get me to vote by putting ads in video games, that's just plain tacky. Something that's definitely not tacky is our next story out of a school in Texas. Students there elected one of the most popular guys on campus homecoming king. Well, so what? His Highness, though, might not be what you expect. Shanna Franklin of affiliate KDAF in Dallas introduces us to one remarkable royal.
High school senior Eric Cobb will never read, write, or drive. But fellow students chant his name, and the crowd parts as he walks his school's halls. He owns them.
Yes, school love me. I'm a king. Me.
The 17-year-old who got cerebral palsy, mental retardation, and an eye impairment from a SIDS episode when he was just 3 months old was just named Homecoming King of Colleyville Heritage High School.
Thanks.
It's an award his best friend says is well-deserved.
No matter if you're someone who sits by themselves at lunch, someone who is really smart, someone who's really athletic, he loves everybody at an equal level. He sees everybody the way they are.
Fame has not spoiled Eric. When I asked him how it feels to be king, he didn't gloat.
Me? I'm fine.
He even recreated some of the announcement night magic for us, showing us how he locked arms with his mom walking on the football field. Then he improved my vocabulary, introducing me to the name of the wand in this picture, an emblem of power, you know.
Scepter.
Yeah, scepter.
Accolades are not new for the 17-year-old. Here are just the highlights. Last spring, Eric was named one of the high school's 5 most influential people. He's won many medals in many sports over many years at state Special Olympics, and Eric was his high school varsity football team's manager freshman through junior year.
This is a kid who had these big football players singing SpongeBob SquarePants on the bus, coming home from games.
Louder. Best buddies. Best buddies.
I think sometimes we tend to limit people as to what they can do, and I think Eric's kind of shown that he can do anything. He can be like everybody else.
In Colleyville, Shanna Franklin for CNN.
Okay, finally today, a pair of pumpkin growers are launching their product line. And we mean launching. Most of the pumpkins grown on this farm are sold for carving. The ones that don't measure up are subjected to this medieval punishment. Max and Cyrus say they crafted this 20-foot contraption just to pass the time. They only fling the fruit that's too rotten to be sold. Well, that flying fruit catapults us into the weekend, thank Gord. Hope you guys have a great one. We'll see you on Monday.